Hi, hello, my love. Welcome to Co-Creative Healing Journey. My name is Greta. I am a healer, and I'm very, very happy to have you here. I'm really excited to do this reading. They were just such a blast, and Spirit has such beautiful messages to share, and today is no exception. So, we are going to be doing a spiritual guidance reading where Spirit is going to bring through perspectives, understandings, teachings, perspective. And today it's really mostly going to be about giving you guidance that has to do with where you are in life and something that you're experiencing. So on the channel, we have talked a lot about game change and game change energy that really is going to be unfolding throughout the end of 2023 into the beginning of 2024. And of course, whenever you are watching this timeless reading, because energy doesn't dissipate, right? It's a law of physics, but energy endures and it continues, and we all come to it in different times and in different ways. So whenever you're watching this, but here and now, Spirit wants to talk to us about the mechanics of shifting energy cycles. How do we go about shifting energy cycles, giving us some perspective, but also some advice and some kind of guiding directions, some things that we can apply in life so that we can make the best out of this dynamic. And I also have created some energy work that is on the channel that is about this game change energy and how to navigate it consciously. So that is also there. And then there's this, and then there's more. And there will be more because, again, it's going to be ongoing throughout the end of 2023 and into 2024. So let's get right to it. I picked the first three cards. We have an overall energy of King of Wands. Look at that. That's the game change. You're on top. You're on top. You're in control of your life, of your energy, and especially I was talking about intentional energy and direction. That's the wand suit, to do things with intention. And especially when we have the horse represents the will. So there is a mastery here of the will, a mastery of the intentions. And look how he's holding the wand, the Ace of Wands, directing energy. And even with this Ace of Wands, there is the aspect of repurposing energy. So there's a mastery here in repurposing energy. The aces have that repurposing aspect. So taking an old set of intentions and in a very masterful way, redirecting those intentions and putting them from the old cycle into the new cycle. I love it. And the message here is basically, in the old cycle, there are things that you have mastered. You are not coming out of your old cycle like a pauper, like someone who has lost, like someone who is nothing. You are coming out of the old cycle with so much that you have mastered. And it's about taking the energy where you were learning and you were struggling and you were having difficulty in those areas with those issues, taking that energy, repurposing it and directing it into now a masterful way forward, masterful guidance. Again, look at this. Look at this. This is you. And you may not feel like this every day of your life, right? But this is you. Right. I know, yeah, it's me, but it also, oh, there you go. Someday I will learn to work this camera. There you go. There's a whole process to have this energy come into focus, but this is you. In some area of your life, in some ways, this is you. And Spirit wants to talk to you about that whole dynamic. And so with that, we have got laughter. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Well, imagine that. Okay, did not see that one coming. And we have got intuition. Beautiful. All right, so laughter is talking about let the good times roll. That's actually a song. I can't sing it right now. I'm not getting the melody or anything, but those are the lyrics, right? Let the good times roll. Ain't gonna let no female play me cheap. Got 50 cents more that I'm gonna keep. And it's like a jazzy tune, right? So to contextualize that, but it's this, I got 50 cents more than I'm gonna keep. I have more energy, more mastery. You have more to do with and you need to hold on to. And there's a big message here. Yeah, for sure. Of having had to hold on while you were struggling, while you were in the difficult times of learning this, you've had to hold on to this mastery. Maybe some of you have been keeping it a secret. You haven't really been showing it. And now it is time to put it out there, and it's time to let it roll, to let your mastery unfold. And we do see them here riding horses, and now these horses have wings. But it's this message of, see, I don't have mastery over this camera. There we go. But there's something to kind of learn and to apply. I've struggled enough to know that it matters, putting in more time, more effort. So there's something to that. And it's something about letting it unfold, letting it run loose, running wild with it, and just enjoying it. It's not a heavy, there was heaviness before, but now it's time to have fun with it. And it would be something like, imagine if you are an artist and you've taken classes and you've learned how to draw a portrait, and it's painstaking, and they're like, draw this apple, draw this building, draw this and that, and you're learning all the technical things, and then all of a sudden you're in a state of mastery as an artist, and you can just do whatever you want. And that's how a lot of those painters, all of a sudden they become expressionists, or they become abstract painters. Their work of art, they just go beyond the structure and they just go abstract, but the technique is there. And it's the same thing. They do whatever the heck you want, and there is a lot that is incoming. There's a lot that is incoming for you. Intuition. I love this energy for you, because Spirit is saying that in the coming days, in the coming times, also as this game change energy unfolds in your life, and it's going to be different for everybody, there's going to be new perspectives, new ideas, new ways in which you're looking at things. You're going to get new impressions. That's a lot of how our heart speaks to us. We get impressions, and they impress upon us. They show us the importance, new things that are important, new things that stand out. Things that we get completely enamored with, passionate about, falling in love all over again, and just wanting to do this, wanting to pursue it, wanting to go for it. So a lot of that going on. And also, again, a very... It's this notion of when healing completes is when it feels good. You like it, you love it, you enjoy it, it feels good. And so if you're not at the point where there is light, there's happiness, there's acceptance, there is even joy in some aspect of it, then it's not fully healed. And that is absolutely completely okay. But what's coming here is the understanding that a lot of things also are getting healed, like a higher perspective. There's forgiveness, there's allowance, there's just you dealing with the past, repurposing this energy. And it's repurposed because you now feel good. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. You now feel good, and you know how to proceed, because what Spirit is saying is that for some of us, not every one of us, but for some of us, there's a lot where we haven't been able to see the forest for the trees. So in another way, we haven't been able to see the dream we're moving towards, the goal, the vision, because there was all of this brokenness and this work in between. So for example, imagine, right, your dream is to start creating this abstract art or expressionist art. Then on the onset, in the beginning, you could just be like, well, how on earth am I going to do that? You can't see how you're going to get to that point because you're before the skills, before the work, before the development. And so now you've been through the work, you've been through the development, and something new can come in, a new and higher perspective. And again, it's coming in as impression, as embodiment. It's who you are. So of course, this is what you want to do now. You're King of Wands now, right? So that's what you want to do. That's where you want to go. That's how you want to approach it. Yeah, round and round. There's a cycle ending and a new one beginning. And Spirit is like, that's life. That is really life. Certain things end. All good things must come to an end. And even the bad ones. All things come to an end and begin again. And begin again. Again, I was saying in the beginning, law of physics, energy doesn't dissipate. It doesn't disappear. It is repurposed. It is transformed. It is transmuted. It evolves, but it's still there. It's still life. And so, I drew these 3 cards because I want to bring through some guiding principles, or Spirit wants to bring to us some guiding principles. And that's exactly it. I'm inspired, right? It's Spirit, it comes in. I want to draw these 3 cards for guiding principles. Spirit wants to give us 3 guiding principles. It's convergence. Things just fit together and they work together, and it is beautiful. So first we've got never ending story upside down. I'll show you the card afterwards, actually. Then we've got a leg up upside down, and then we've got Message in a bottle upside down. Okay, in this deck, when you have the upside down cards, it's protection energy. It's not necessarily a block, it's just protection energy, and then the meaning changes different a little bit. But then in general, I never really read upside down as blocks, because who's blocking you? Magnificent sentient being, who is this, right? Certainly in some areas of life, not in general, but at a deep level, you're a big being. You're this being. And so here we have something that I am loving these days, very much feeling this is never ending story. And so the card looks like this. And there we go. We have here a card that is, if you look at the heart, it actually says yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. And it's the same story, it could be he loves me not, he loves me not, I want this, I don't want this, it's my dream, it's not my dream, it's my purpose, it's not my purpose, it works, it doesn't work, I've learned it, I haven't learned it, I've mastered it, I know nothing. It's going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And this actually does talk about the ego, because one of the ways in which the ego is described by the Buddha is the extremes, going through the extreme. I am nothing and I am everything. I have no power in the world, I rule the world. And it's about going through these extremes. So it's like the story, right? The story that we tell ourselves. But when we're talking about the ego, there's the notion of strategies, because our ego is very much all of the learned strategies that we've inherited from our family growing up, but also from society, our culture, but also from our own conclusions that we've drawn. And so strategy number one is don't draw the same conclusions that you've drawn a million times. You see how this person looks? They look miserable. They look miserable. Stop drawing the conclusions that have made you miserable. Stop drawing the conclusions that have caused you trouble, right? So for example, if there's an issue and a challenge and you're thinking like, oh, I'm so tired of this, I want to be done with this, but there's nothing to do. But in order for it to resolve, it has to be someone else who does something, and so on and so forth. You're already there. You're disempowering yourself, or you're taking the option of a solution off the table, right? If it has to come from someone else, if it has to be done outside of you, then it's not going to get fixed. And it's like that. There's a big message here about questioning your strategies, questioning your approaches, questioning the stories you tell yourself, your understanding, your explanations, your interpretations of people, places, things, dynamics, situations, circumstances, you name it, your reality. Question your reality. Is it really that way, or is it the way that I've thought that it was? Back when I was struggling, back when I was working, back when I was not this. Is that really, really the way it is? Is that really the only way? Or can this energy come into the situation and circumstance anew and go, you know what? I don't like this. This doesn't work for me. So I'm going to find something that does work for me. I'm going to find another way to live this. And I'm going to start there. What do I want? The King of Wands energy for me is I lead the life that I want to lead. How do I want this to be? And then work my way towards it. What is it going to take to make it the way that I want it to be? Well, I need this person to do this. Well, I can't make them do anything. So if I take this person out of the equation, what are the potentials? What are the possibilities? What are the requirements? Is it going to work? Maybe to this extent. Okay, so this much I can do. Okay, so let's get that. If I get that, what else do I do? How else do I go about it? There is just this relentless energy that will not give up on it being the way that you want it to be. But again, not from an egoic space, because the egoic space has been either from it has to be the way that I want it, or it has to be the way that they want it because I have no control over it. Again, those two extremes. Bypassing that completely and saying, okay, how else can I do this? Secondly, we have a leg up here. Oh my God. Wow, this is such an interesting message. And you see this little bear cub that is getting a leg up, right? That is climbing onto its mama or papa's back. But we have this message here. When it's upside down, a leg up, it talks about asking for help and receiving help. And now I'm feeling that in this instance, the mama or papa bear, papa polar bear, Ooh, is spirit. But these are endangered animals. This is something that is rare, something that is endangered. And the second principle the spirit really, really, really wants you to bring in is to learn to lean on spirit. So many messages coming in, so let me unpack this. On the one hand, I was watching a video the other day where a woman was talking about a short video like on YouTube, and she was talking about how she had been saved through divine intervention that had told her to not be in a certain space and place, and literally her life was saved. And then I looked into the comments, and so many people had stories like, oh yeah, I was standing somewhere, God told me move, I moved, and rubble fell exactly where I was standing. Everyone was looking for me, but I was actually in the car and seeing it across the street shaking, but everybody thought that I was still there, but I had taken myself somewhere else. It's those kinds of stories, and story after story after story after story, and I certainly have my own. And it's such a common thing of people who co-create with spirit, who live with spirit, and who have that openness. And so as much as you are empowered, spirit is saying, don't leave me out, don't count me out, because there's a lot that spirit can do. When you get up on the back of this mama bear, the view is higher, right? The view is higher. You can be carried along the way. You don't have to do everything your own. It's actually a central principle in surrender. It is, you do everything you can, everything that you should do, because there's also a message here to rethink dependency, right? To be independent and become more independent and really empower yourself to come out of situations and dynamics where there is dependency, codependency, where there is disempowerment through that dependency also, right? Sometimes we can be dependent on people and they're really nice about it, and sometimes we're dependent on people and they're very mean about it or abusive about it. So we also need to acknowledge those different dynamics. But either way, the next cycle is for you to be independent on your own, and really, it's really saying like the person for you to depend on, or not the person, but the energy that you to depend on the most is spirit, because there's things the spirit can see, that can know, can direct you towards, can help you with ways in which you can be protected, that are above your pay grade, that you cannot be expected to be able to do or to provide for yourself, and that will be given if you yourself allow it to. So that's it for now. Yeah, just the aspect of the endangered species. It's also that whatever you're being guided to in the next cycle, a lot of it will be different than what most people do and what they understand. So this could be spirit saying, hey, move from the rubble, and then everybody looks at you and they think that you're weird, and then maybe the rubble falls 10 minutes later, right? And for those 10 minutes people will have thought that you're weird. Well, you can take it, you can handle it, because you've been preparing for that also. This is not a path that you move on, this new cycle of energy where you move on and you're going to have universal acclaim. I'm not sure that there ever is such a thing. There's always going to be somebody who doesn't like you, right? Opinions are like ani, everybody has one. And in this day and age, there are lots of means for people to tell you their opinions, right? And even in anonymous ways, which drags things down, all that stuff. So it's okay that not everybody is on your team, but you have to be strong enough to hold it. The only person you need on your team is spirit. And now, of course, I understand some of you are married, some of you have children, and so on. So there are those dynamics, and spirit is saying that for some of you, other people are part of this help and support, but never in dependence, never in codependency, and never through abuse, never through darkness. All of that is in the past. Close the door, move on. It's over. Finally, third principle, we've got this message in a bottle. And this is it's just, I love spirit so much, you know. Look at this. There's a phone inside the bottle, and the bottle is surfacing. So there's guidance that you're going to be getting now that really isn't going to make sense until later. So in the path that you're now navigating, how you're now moving forward, it's going to be very important that you're able to follow the guidance, right? Move from this spot here, stand anywhere but here. Okay, I don't understand, it doesn't make sense, but I'm going to do it. People are looking at me weird, but I'm going to do it. And then afterwards you will get the clarity, you will get the message. And part of it is simply because you just can't understand it. If spirit from the get-go told you you're going to draw abstract paintings, you'll be like, wait, what? Or spirit said you will be in your car sitting there watching rubble fall down. What? That doesn't make sense. It's not supposed to. It's completely normal that it doesn't. but you are going to need to have the ability to follow through on the guidance and the impressions and the inspirations and the passion and the love and the drive that comes in, and the intentions that really you're going to have because they're coming from your heart. And so those intentions, those impressions, like I said, 2024, I may or may not have said it, but 2024 is going to be a year of massive heart activation. So this is also part of the alignment into that and into this energy. Now, another aspect of this message in a bottle and the emergence is that there's something called an emergent evolution, right? So I know it, for example, from business school, where you would have these businesses that start and you don't know where you're going to go. You don't know where you're going to end up, but you start the business and maybe let's say it's a food truck, and then you buy the truck and you start your food truck, and then you get more means, and then you buy maybe a second food truck, and maybe you buy a new location. And so when you look at the evolution of the company, it looks a little bit maybe chaotic, the chaos theory type thing, where you can't look at where the organization is today and look back and know, oh, it was always on track to be here today. It was emergent and it made sense in the moment. And it's an evolution and you can't see it coming and you don't necessarily know where it's going to go, but that's the way that it is. And so in this new time, in this new cycle, there's a massive amount, because you have to think about it as we're at the beginning, right? So there's a huge, like a flower blossoming, there's a huge explosion of potential. And when you have a lot of potential energy, it could literally go every single way. So if spirit told you to go to go in left, right, you could go left and get a lot, but maybe you would get more by going left for a while and then going right. So there are all of these different things, and you are best served, it serves your highest good, your alignment, for you not to lock yourself in too early, to settle down on something specific too early, but to allow for a pattern of emergence, a pattern of convergence to be coming in and to be coming through. Wow, they're just popping. Let's draw a little bit of tarot. Oh, and I was actually going to cut the deck, but there we go. Well, there we go. Yeah, 9 of Pentacles upside down at the bottom. You are the resource. Okay, I was thinking if I was going to tell you, because normally I tell you what the cards are. This is Cobalto Calcite. This is Hematite. This is Aventurine. This is a little bit of a Chinese charm, part of a Chinese charm that I received once. And this is my resource stone. If you look at it at the rugged side, if I'd put it down, because I do all of this intuitively, right? But if I put it down, rugged side up, it talks about the need to develop resources. When it is the smooth side up, then it is about resources that we already have. So there's a big, big message and emphasis that Spirit wants to put again and again and again to say, you have the resources that you need. You have them. You have them. And Spirit is even saying, you are them. You are the resources that you need. So onwards we go. We have our 7 of Wands with courage here. We've got the moon upside down. Oh, wow. So that took a turn. With Ichel, goddess Ichel, we've got, I'll show you the card right side up, but we've got Mother of Regeneration, Mother of Fire Regeneration, which is the equivalent of the Queen of Wands. And then we have the High Priestess. Love to see her in this reading, which is Goddess Isis, Major Arcana number 2. And this was Major Arcana number 18, the Moon. So, we're going to start with this 7 of Wands card, Courage, because it's reminding me of the biblical story. There is a biblical story of Daniel, who was, I forgot the whole setup, but it's the notion of being a prophet in a strange land. And so Daniel told the king something that he didn't like. He got thrown into a pit, and there was to be eaten by lions. Daniel got thrown into the pit, and the lions did not touch him. They did not bother him. Now, it can be very scary to be surrounded by lions, but if you hold your alignment, if you hold your truth and hold on to who you are, and again, your intentions and the impressions of your heart, then you are going to get where you want to be. Because what Spirit is saying is that basically, when you go into a certain kind of energy, and this kind of energy, right, there in shifting cycles, there is a way in which the old world is no longer managed. And so it can create this dynamic where you feel like there's a lion bearing down on you. There's a sense of danger, there's a sense of vulnerability, there is a sense of being exposed. And what you need in this instance is courage. And that's why we chose this deck, because courage for me is to follow the voice of your heart. So follow that higher voice, follow the messages, your impressions, your passions, which you love, your drive, master the energy, keep moving forward and do what you love, right? Let the good times roll. But to go into this energy can feel again so vulnerable. And you might even find yourself with this lion energy and what we've been talking about, you might find yourself being attacked for it, being judged, being ridiculed, maybe even being threatened in that. And it's very important that you hold your ground, you hold your alignment, because you're coming from a different energy. And so, what Spirit really, really wants you to understand is that when you're in the old system and also very more ego based, there's a lot that you do that allows you to manage these kinds of dynamics, right? It's just a different way, it's a different approach. We're going to talk about that actually here on the channel in a couple of weeks, I can see, okay, or in a running way. But there's going to be a video about what Spirit calls the spiritual principle, and I can see it popping up here. And again, it's a point that Spirit really wants me to make before we move on. Okay, it's like, let's say you start your first day of school. And on the first day of school, if you've ever watched teenager movies, you would know what I'm talking about. But you show up and your ego, your strategies has had you buy all of the fancy clothes, or the right kind of clothes, right? And your makeup and your hair, and you know the right words and everything. And you go up to the popular girls and you mend with their clique, and then they invite you in because there's a match between the egos, right? They recognize your strategy, and your strategy fundamentally validates theirs. They like that. So you get into the clique, and you're not going to be bullied that year, right? And you're going to have a certain time in school, and things are going to get better. You're not going to meet this energy. But if you show up on the first day of school and maybe you're dressed like a goth, or however you want, that's just unconventional, and then you say unconventional things and you act in the unconventional ways, you're so much more likely to draw that energy to you, to get attacked, to get bullied, and so on and so forth. And so there's a way in which you used to know how to fit in, how to play their game, but there's a game change now. You're playing a different kind of game. So you have to be prepared, you have to be ready for that energy coming towards you, but there's no need to be afraid, right? Because you have the protection of Spirit. And again, you're playing a different game. The only way it can affect you or hurt you is if you slip and you start to think that you're still playing their game, right? So, oh no, now I'm on the outside. No, you're not on the outside. You're not on the playing field. There's no relevance here. This is not, connecting. There's no connection here unless you yourself create it. With the moon upside down, there's a message here about being on a different schedule, soul time, so on and so forth. Do you see how she's wearing this dress that has the colors of the rainbow, and she's doing her dance and her eyes are closed? There is a message here about how do I explain this? Okay, it goes with the mother of regeneration there, with this fire that comes from within, and these convictions and this new way of being in the world and existing and so on and so forth. These two go together. You're not sourced from the same reality. You're not going to be living in the same reality as these people anymore. That's over and done with. And I actually like to show them upside down. Even before, I was like, why am I showing them upside down? Because the heads are upside down. It brings through this idea, this notion that your logic, your perspective is upside down, is skewed, is different from that of everybody else. And that is perfectly all right. That is perfectly fine. With the moon, this is talking about keeping a certain mystery. It's like Spirit is telling you, you're going to be fine. You're going to be prosperous. You are in mastery. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. I'm leading you here. I'm leading you there. You're probably watching readings beyond this one that have all of these messages for you. You have your own inner knowing of where you're headed. But fundamentally there's mystery in that, because you're on a soul path, you're on a soul way, and the moon is also this time of periods and different timings and divine timing and being on that. And so that's completely natural to the energy that you're in and the path that you're currently walking. Keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself. This is just this message of don't try to explain it, at least just yet, because with the mother of regeneration, it's gonna cut you loose to do a lot without people seeing. You see how there's the black here in the background? It's in the unknown. So people think that you're vague. This is what they see. This is what they see. They see you upside down, and they see that you're vague, or you're being mysterious, or you're being naive, or dreamy. Whatever they see, this is what they see. What you are actually living out is regeneration, and the energy of the Queen of Wands, and again of the King of Wands. What you're embodying power, conviction, the voice and the truth of your heart. You know who you are, you know what you're about, you know you're in a stage of regeneration, and you're making moves and you're directing yourself. There's a lot of confidence in this energy, and this is about having confidence in you, and less focus more on having confidence in you than on having confidence in your ability to portray confidence to other people. Have more confidence in who you are, what you know, and you being on your path and true to you. Have more confidence in embodying your truth than having confidence in any sort of perception that you need to justify yourself, validate yourself, that you need to explain anything to anyone, because that is absolutely not the case. And even if it were, it's not something that you can do, because you don't have all the answers. And not having all the answers in their system, in their reality, in their way, is a cause for attack, can be a cause for attack, can be a cause for ostracization and whatever, just drama, annoyance, things that are going to come and dilute your energy. You don't need that. And Spirit saying keep things very, very close to the vest. With the High Priestess, if you do this, it's a form of stepping away. You step away and you stay in your own energy, in your own focus. And the High Priestess is actually the energy that can rule the moon. The High Priestess is the one that sees through the energies of the moon. So you can read the seasons, you can read the timing. I'm not being lazy, I'm resting. It's time for me to rest. And everything on paper says that now's the time to go, 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 go. The business strategies and the articles that I'm seeing online and that I'm getting sent, and the advice that I'm receiving that I asked for or didn't ask for, all of the energy is like go, 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 go. But I know what I'm doing. I have mastery over this and over my process, or over this area. And I know that now it's time to rest. I know that now it's time to be thinking up things. I know that the time now is time to do what I'm doing, what I know to do. And there's a big message for you to hold to that level of guidance. Because Isis is also a goddess in her story who was able to make the impossible happen over and over and over again. In their story, in their reality, in their causality, it can't happen. You're just dreaming. You're just being naive. You're just blah, 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 all that stuff. But through spiritual energy, and by reading the signs, reading the times, reading the game change energy that is here for you, you can make the impossible happen time and time and time again, my love. And I'm just being drawn to the card on the bottom. Find your bliss. Exactly. I'm following a path I love and am fully aligned to my soul purpose. I feel like saying amen. Exactly. So, let's get you some specific advice. We have these paths, and I invite you to check it out. Again, I do put the links and descriptions like on the timeline of the video, so you can go back and maybe take some notes, because I really feel like that's game-changing advice. But here now, Spirit just wants to give you some advice to move through all this in general. We have water elemental. Oh, there we go. I love this. I love this. And it says, I align my body, mind, and spirit to flow intuitively through the changes in life. Does it get clearer than that? And it's number 11, master number 11. And with that, we have Earth Angel. Love it. And this one says, I am a guardian of Mother Earth and protect all who live on her. So, master number 11 is mastery of our own energies and also mastery of our higher connection to higher self. And it is also a number that speaks to mastery of higher awareness, right? An awakening energy. And so with this water elemental, this is literally spirit saying flow with it. And this is talking about especially having follow the path of least resistance. Follow the energy and let the energy speak to you. This is a really good time, again, to be so immersed in the energy and the cycle and what's opening up, what used to work and doesn't work anymore, what couldn't work before and now can work. It's about seeing, being in a kind of, very receptive state and observational state and just looking and seeing, wait, things are unfolding in a different way. What does that tell me? It's about your flow and seeing, following the path of least resistance. So what is aligned in this new energy and what is not anymore? What is supported and what is not anymore? What feels good and doesn't anymore, right? What did I used to need and maybe I don't need anymore? All of those things. There's this almost detective energy, but it's not a detective that's seeking the answer or like analyzing. It's a detective that's just very present, very aware, again, in embodiment energy in life. And, having your experience, having your day, but getting feedback, like treating your experience as feedback, which is also going to allow you to flow in it. And the advice is also to learn how to utilize that feedback to flow. So it's not just like, oh, I did this and I felt blocked, but let me keep doing it. It's like, no, how else can I do it? And then you feel the turn and, okay, this is the more smooth direction. This is the more aligned direction. This is the more aligned way. And then you keep developing it and you keep being intrigued and curious and engaged, to really be engaged with your experience. And again, treat everything as feedback, always with this perspective on making it truer, lighter, brighter, more joyous, more loving, more of what you want it to be. And then we have this earth angel holding a planet, holding the world. And there is a big message here that I did not expect, and I feel like it came at the end almost out of nowhere, but there's a big message about activation of purpose, and especially actually activation of function, a calling. So not so much purpose, calling. That the function, we all have like this service, right? This is how I want to serve. This is what I want to do. This is how I want to go about it. And we feel that very strongly. And then there's the function. It's where the world needs you. What does the world need from you? What does the universe need you to be and to do and to create and so on? And it's really talking about like a place in the world that's been created for you where you will have the function that you need to have. And it would be something like, maybe some people are shamans, right? And for me, shaman is very much linked to a community. So that community, and you become a shaman. And that's for some people. And for other people, they can follow like the third path, with the third way, and maybe do witchcraft. And that's for them. So you could be working energy in the same kind of way fundamentally. You could be working the same kind of energies, but they have very different functions and they unfold at different levels, right? And it's about finding something for you. And there's this energy of finding the right thing, the right place, the right way, the right people, the right words, the right concepts, the right projects, the right resources, the right funding, all of these things, but things really falling into place where you're more focused on the function. It's like the universe calling you forward. Come here, this is for you. And there's convergence. I want to go, I want to do this, I want to do that. And then there's the universe saying, come here, come do this, come do that. And there's a convergence where you meet each other in the middle and you find the right thing, the exact right thing. And there's a big activation of that end of 2023 into 2024. Big culmination, especially in 2023. So look out for that. And again, be present, be engaged. What is showing up? How does it feel? How does it speak to you? The spirit is also saying, be willing to move. Be willing to move. Again, impressions, thingy. Some of you got to move across the world. Some of us have to move. Some of us are being called into different physical locations, different industries, with different partners, maybe a different cause, and so on and so forth. So there's also going to be a lot of movement, because one of the fundamentals of awakening in general, but also these shifts, is that if you could do something, you would, oh, everything shook, sorry. But if you could do something, you would have been doing it from the get go. So when there's shifts, when there's change, there's also a change in how we do things and where, and so on and so forth. And it's at the right time, in the right way, for the right reason. So enjoy that. And this is going to be the takeaway for this reading. Let me show you the card. It's feeling good. I feel like I really hacked this camera. And it says, it's talismans of potency. Sacred tools and objects can become an extension of your energy field, focusing your power and intention, helping you heal the split between spirit and matter, bringing physical matter more deeply into light and life. You are encouraged to work with sacred materials in a conscious way to help your own healing and enjoyment of the material world as a part of your spiritual practice. So much there. But definitely there's a message of enjoy. Let the good times roll, right? The right things, the right places, the right function, the right alignment. It's going to feel good. It's going to allow you to enjoy more clearly. A lot of us have also been in a more kind of spiritual space, but just very energy conscious space. And there's the need now, or the dynamic of this next cycle is also very much to come into form, come into matter, come into the world more clearly, and to enjoy, absolutely, to serve and to do and to create, but also to connect, to share, to experience, to try, to expand, to invent, to explore, to discover, to play, to do lots and lots and lots of different things, whatever your heart desires. And so, love, that was the reading. Yay, I knew I was excited. I knew I was right to be excited about this one, because it is very exciting and it is awesome. Awesome energy. So happy to have shared this message with you. If you would like to tell me about how you received it, how it spoke to you, how this is showing up in your life, I would love to hear it. And remember that there is some energy work, game change energy work here on the channel, if that can help you. There's actually also some energy work that I've created where we are looking at how to create a new cycle of energy in your life, actually. And there are different levels of energy work. I honestly don't know the prices off the top of my head, but I think they're about like $20 for the most simple one, which is about a month long. The one that is 4 months long is $40, and then the longest one is going to be between $60 and $75, because there's different ones. So if that speaks to you, you can check that out at co-creativehealingjourney.com. Links are in the description box also. And that is it for here and now. Oh, I do also offer intuitive readings. You can ask 3 to 6 questions to Spirit, and I will give you the answers in an audio recorded message. That is at about, I also forget the price, but it's going to be in the description box. It's $45. There you go. $45, $55 for European citizens. And so that's it. Sending you lots of love, wishing you all the best, and I'll be seeing you around. Bye, love.